What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. It's Matt here. It is Monday, which means we are going into another simple, easy to make recipe. This week, we are making granola. I love making granola at home. It is really easy, but more importantly, you can get exactly what you like. There are a few little things that I don't like in granola, like raisins, for instance. I don't like raisins at all. So when you make your own granola, you can customize. You can put dried fruit in. You can put different kinds of nuts. You can cook it a little more, a little less. You can make it chunkier. There's all these different types of things you can do when you make your own granola at home. Most importantly, though, you get control over what kind of oil you're using and what kind of sugar and how much sugar you're using, which means you can make it healthier. So in this episode, we're going to make two kinds of granola. We're going to make a fruit-based granola, and I'm going to make a chocolate granola. You can make these any way you want. These are great base recipes for you to make granola at home. So with that in mind, let's jump in the kitchen and start making our granola. So we're gonna start our granola with coconut oil. It's healthy and has a nice little bit of a coconut taste. You can use just about any oil that you like. Try a bunch of different ones out and see what you like the best. The second thing that we need is some form of sweetener. I'm going to use honey. You could use lots of other things like maple syrup works really well here, different types of syrups like agave syrup. This is a good use for a really good honey. Just going to stir these lightly to combine everything. We'll set this aside and get our nuts ready. So on the cutting board, I have 3 different kinds of nuts. One of the best parts about making your own granola is you can customize this however you want. I have almonds, pecans, and I have walnuts. I'm gonna just cut all these down. They're all basically different sizes. We want them to be about the same size so that they'll cook evenly. So I'm just gonna run my knife through these and get them all cut down to about the same sort of bite-sized piece. These are about ready. Let's head over to our bowl. Earlier, I forgot to add a little bit of vanilla extract, but let's add that now. We'll add in our chopped nuts, a little bit of coconut. Give this a stir to combine. And add in our rolled oats. And we'll mix it together one more time. Good tip is digging down towards the bottom and then turning up, basically folding everything together so that you get the stuff that's at the bottom. All right, let's prepare a baking sheet. I'm going to put some parchment paper down on a baking sheet. And then spread out our granola. Once it's all spread out, we're going to put this into a 350 Fahrenheit, 180 Celsius oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. I like checking it after 25 minutes to see if it's done. So while the granola is cooking, I'm going to prepare my dried fruits. In this case, I've got some cranberries. Like with the nuts, I'm going to run my knife through them. You can use any kind of dried fruit that you like. Just make sure you add it after it's cooked. Cranberries, blueberries, mangoes, apricots, all of that is great. All right, these look good. Let's set them aside while the granola finishes cooking. After 30 minutes in the oven, you'll have something that's golden brown and nicely cooked. Let's put this back in the bowl. I'll add in my dried cranberries. And we'll set this aside to cool while we make our second granola. So for this granola, I'm going to do a mix of almonds and walnuts this time. Same exact process. We're going to cut these down into similar sized pieces. All right, these look pretty good. So we're making chocolate granola. So I've got a bit of chocolate. We're not gonna add this until the end, similar to when we added the dried fruit in our last granola recipe, but I can prepare it now. You could use chocolate chips, but I'm gonna use this baker style chocolate or these squares and just roughly cut them down. Here I have some dark chocolate. This one is very dark. It's 54% cacao, so this will be very, very dark. I'm gonna balance that with a bit of milk chocolate. So let's cut this down. All right, these are down into about the size that I want. Let's set these aside in a separate bowl because we won't need them until the very end. All right, same basic idea with this granola. We're basically gonna start with our oil and sweetener, then add our nuts and our oats together. So coconut oil again, we're gonna start with. I'm gonna try a different honey with this recipe. If you like your granola chunkier, just add more honey or whatever sweetener you're using. Vanilla extract. I'm just gonna quickly combine these. Now for our dry ingredients, we're gonna add in our nuts, bit of coconut. Because it's chocolate, we're gonna add a bit of cacao powder. And last but not least, our rolled oats. Just gonna add a pinch of salt, bring out some of the flavor of the chocolate. Let's stir all this to combine. All right, we'll prepare our baking sheet. So like before, we're gonna line this with a bit of parchment paper and spread out our granola. And now into a 180 Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit oven for 30 minutes. All right, after about 30 minutes, you'll have something that looks like this. This one will be a fair bit darker because of the chocolate, but you're looking for something that's nice and toasted. Let's put this into a bowl and let it cool down and add our chocolate. All right, I'm gonna let this cool down for about 5 minutes or so before I add my chocolate so it doesn't just melt. All right, so this has cooled down slightly. Now we'll add our chopped chocolate and just combine all this. We'll set this aside to cool completely. All right, so we've got our two different kinds of granola. This is our fruit granola, which we added dried cranberries to. And then this is our chocolate granola, which we added cocoa powder and a bit of chocolate chips at the end. Let's give them both a try. This is the one we added a little bit less honey to. It's great in my opinion because it's not incredibly sweet. If you wanted something sweeter, obviously you could just add a bit more honey. And the cranberries are obviously really good in something like this, so that's really delicious. And then this is our chocolate one. You know, still sweeter, but it's really more chocolate flavor. Using that dark chocolate, I think, is really, really good. It's got, you know, that little bit of bitterness from the chocolate. The milk chocolate in there certainly sweetens it up. But another really, really good granola. I'll show you how I like to eat this in the morning. So I've got just a little bit of plain yogurt. I'll add a scoop or two of my granola. Mix this together. You could add a bit more honey to this if you wanted to, but I think this is a perfect breakfast. Thanks for watching. See you next time.